I did care about this little ditty here, Maureen, where he decided to give us a little insight into his relationship with Michelle. Here it is, SOT 29.
Since I left office, I have spent over 8 years now trying to dig myself out of a hole with Michelle.
It's the art of deflection coming from former President Obama, as well as his friends who are still in Congress today, and Senator Warner and Congressman Jim Himes, really all basically saying that exact same statement, which doesn't actually address the issue that was revealed in great detail.
Stop scrolling, because something just went down in the political matrix. See, Megyn Kelly and Tulsi Gabbard just combined forces and unleashed a verbal demolition so intense it practically voided Barack Obama's warranty. I'm talking shockwaves, plot twists, and the kind of commentary that makes you stare at your screen like you've forgotten how blinking works. Nobody saw this coming. And what Obama said back? Yeah, that's where things get dangerously interesting. Stay right here. You're not ready for this.
Did you see the post he put out to celebrate her birthday?
Yeah.
Was it her birthday or their anniversary?
He did.
He chose the least attractive photo of her that's ever been released. I mean, this is just wrong. Michelle Obama can look very nice in a photograph. This ain't it.
Maria, the implications of this are frankly nothing short of historic. Over 100 documents that we released on Friday really detail and provide evidence of how this treasonous conspiracy was directed by President Obama just weeks before he was due to leave office.
If you're enjoying this video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. There was absolute chaos the moment Megyn Kelly kicked off the roast, like someone who had been waiting her entire career for the moment the universe finally handed her a glitter-coated stage to verbally body slam Barack Obama into the sun. With a grin that telegraphed danger, she tore into his public aura like it was an overpriced designer suit stitched together entirely from ego and self-congratulation.
I'm almost breaking even at the moment.
Oh my God. It's perfect.
He's telling the truth.
Yeah, it's the other side of the first side we always cover, which is her and how miserable she is.
Again, like, I know we've talked about this at length and it feels like a real puzzle for the ages, but why is he still whipping himself? Like, why is he still wearing the hair shirt? Why is he still suffering?
I don't know. I don't know the hair shirt.
Tulsi Gabbard followed up like someone who entered the roast arena holding a doctorate in controlled demolition. She didn't even swing. She simply sat back and flicked giant comedic dominoes in Obama's direction. Each joke built on Megyn's takedown, but with Tulsi's signature brand of calm deadpan, the kind of delivery that makes the burn sting twice as long.
And President Obama then directed Obama's DNI James Clapper to lead the effort to create this new intelligence community assessment that detailed not if, but how Moscow attempted to influence the outcome of the U.S. election. So this is the thing that I think people should pay attention to, is neither the message from President Obama's office, neither the statements coming from Democrats in Congress today and their friends in the propaganda media. None of them are addressing this fact that
if you thought things couldn't get worse, you should look again. Kelly rolled through a list of legendary Obama highlights, but not the accomplishments. No, the spectacular moments when charisma worked harder than logic and the world collectively nodded along because, sure, why not? Megyn dissected the myth like a high schooler who discovered Wikipedia the night before a debate tournament.
She's got the kerchief on her head. They're about 20 feet apart in this intimate dinner. And he looks great. This is classic, right? Like, he's like, this is a great picture. He's got the 1,000-watt smile. And she looks terrible. Why would he do this? I can tell you,
Megyn, if I posted that photo, I certainly wouldn't be dating Jennifer Aniston.
You'd be a dead man?
I'd be a dead man.
Tulsi didn't attack politics. She attacked aesthetic spectacle. The man who spent 8 years floating on a cloud of self-created coolness while the rest of the planet tried to figure out what exactly was being solved. She roasted the myth of the chill intellectual who always seemed half a second away from telling the world that everyone needed to meditate more.
180-degree shift from the intelligence community's assessment leading up to the election to the one that President Obama directed be produced after Donald Trump won the election that completely contradicted those assessments that had come previously. The second thing I want to address that's very important, Laura, is that you in the clip that you played, you saw John Brennan, James Clapper, James Comey stated with high confidence this January intelligence community assessment that they drafted at the direction of President Obama. The fact is that they used already discredited information like the Steele dossier. They knew it was discredited at that time, yet they used it as a source for this document that they claim to have high confidence in.
Megyn slid back into the roasting spotlight like she'd been saving a fresh playlist of insults for years. She went after Obama's tendency to look like the smartest person in any room, even when the room was filled with astrophysicists. She exaggerated every mannerism, the dramatic hand gesture, the thoughtful stare into the horizon that implied he was privately solving gravitational physics, and the half smile that suggested he already predicted the next 10 steps of history. Megyn dismantled that cinematic flair with punchlines that made him sound like a man who needed a camera crew to validate grocery shopping. She didn't attack policy, she attacked the atmospheric drama. She presented him as the person permanently expecting a standing ovation for existing, as if oxygen itself paused before entering his lungs. The crowd energy shifted with her timing, her deadpan punchlines making the roast feel like an anthropology lecture dedicated to examining what happens when a man becomes addicted to his own aura. She pretended Obama prepared for public appearances the way Broadway actors prepare for opening night, except the props were just chairs, flags, and a spotlight dialed exclusively to divinity.
They stole his first term as president. These absolute liars who run around trying to act like they're the protectors of democracy completely ruined it, tried to undermine it at every turn and at the highest levels with lies, with out and out lies that were really serious and changed foreign policy and changed the course of history in this country in Trump's presidency. And there must be accountability. There has to be actual criminal accountability for those who lied. And I can't wait to see this administration do it.
Tulsi switched gears by roasting Obama's legendary confidence, the unshakable belief that no matter what happened, he could pivot with a smile and reframe disaster as a spiritual lesson. She joked about his ability to accidentally cause chaos and then calmly explain why the chaos was actually misunderstood brilliance. Not an argument about policy, just comedy about poetic rationalization. She transformed him into the world's most elegant escape artist, the kind who could knock over a bookshelf and convince viewers it was performance art symbolizing resilience. She described him like a man who would deliver a 40-minute speech about transformation and then transform absolutely nothing except the public mood for 5 minutes. Megyn made it comedic, not political, like Obama could sell air fresheners branded as hope and people would place pre-orders 6 months in advance. She dramatized every beat, turning Obama into a lifestyle influencer who marketed vibes as achievements.
This is not a Democrat or Republican issue. This is an issue that is so serious it should concern every single American because it has to do with the integrity of our democratic republic. What we saw occur here, as the documents we released detailed, was that we had a sitting president of the United States and his cabinet and leadership team, quite frankly, who were not happy with the fact that President Trump had won the election, that the American people had chosen Donald J. Trump to be the next president commander-in-chief of the United States. And so they decided that they would do everything possible to try to undermine his ability to do what voters tasked President Trump.
Megyn returned with heat, calling out Obama's flair for dramatic timing. She exaggerated the comedic trope of Obama stepping up to a podium like it was a movie climax every single time. Didn't matter whether it was a crucial moment or a ribbon cutting for a recycling program. He made it feel like destiny required him to deliver his lines slowly, so angels had time to take notes. Megyn roasted that trademark cadence, not by quoting it, but by turning Obama into the human embodiment of a speechwriter's dream and an editor's nightmare. Every joke pushed him further into the realm of cinematic mythology. Tulsi portrayed Obama as the grand master of serene self-presentation, the YouTube-guided meditation guru who didn't need a microphone to center everyone's chakras. It wasn't political, it was comedic exaggeration of charisma as a public utility. Megyn wasn't letting up. Her next swing turned the roast toward Obama's post office glow, treating him like a man who retired from the spotlight only to keep the spotlight anyway. Like someone who leaves a party but hangs outside the window posing in case anyone still wants to admire him. She painted him as the person incapable of entering a room without creating an imaginary slow-motion camera shot. She roasted the aura of eternal elegance, the polished to perfection persona, and the theatrical calm that felt like an audition for the role of wise mentor number one in every blockbuster movie ever made.
If I had to put money on it, if I had like 10 grand to bet on if Trump gets reelected, will he charge Biden or Obama if he can? I'd put it on yes, he will. Can you imagine how pissed off he's going to be? Yes, he will have won reelection in this scenario, but he is going to be so angry at what these people put him through. I know you're right. Like, he wasn't particularly vindictive in his first presidency. I just think this is next level. What they've done, they're the ones who crossed the Rubicon, and I do think they will rue the day.
Tulsi followed with her signature dry delivery, taking the roast in a new comedic direction by treating Obama like the kind of person who acts surprised when people treat him like royalty, even though he clearly ordered the crown online. She joked about the contradiction of wanting the spotlight without admitting that he wanted it, the dance of pretending humility while floating 6 inches above the ground in metaphorical glory. Tulsi framed him like a celebrity who enjoys acting unaware of his own celebrity value, while every punchline magnified the gap between elegance and awareness. Megyn came back strong, doubling down on Obama's mythical calm under pressure. She roasted that reputation by suggesting he could watch a building collapse in slow motion and respond with a philosophical musing about structural integrity. Tulsi took the baton with a punchline avalanche centered on Obama's legacy of coolness, so durable that not even a near apocalypse could damage it. She framed him like someone who could accidentally trip over a dog, and fans would praise his athletic fall as a metaphor for courage in the face of uncertainty. Tulsi exaggerated his cultural indestructibility, not politically, but socially, turning Obama into the eternal homecoming king whose charm survives scandals, disasters, and time itself.
So creating this piece of manufactured intelligence that claims that Russia had helped Donald Trump get elected contradicted every other assessment that had been made previously in the months leading up to the election that said exactly the opposite, that Russia had neither the intent nor the capability to try to, quote unquote, hack the United States election for the presidency of the United States. So the effect of what President Obama and his senior national security team did was subvert the will of the American people, undermining our democratic republic, and enacting what would be essentially a years-long coup against President Trump.
Megyn ramped the roast into closing sequence territory by framing Obama as the master of the heroic autobiography before the heroics even occur. She made him sound like the kind of person who writes emotional reflections about triumphs he hasn't accomplished yet, because obviously they're coming eventually. She described Obama as the guy who walks into a coffee shop like it's already a farewell tour. Every roast hit the persona, not politics, with theatrical precision. Tulsi brought the finale punch, not by trying to outdo Megyn, but by sealing the roast with her signature grounded sarcasm. She framed Obama as the ultimate poster child of polished confidence, the man who could narrate the discovery of a missing sock with enough gravitas to produce an Oscar nomination. Megyn took the final bow, not with another body slam, but with a flourish of pure comedic superiority. She roasted the mythology of Obama's perfection, reducing it to a performance art piece so exaggerated that no one could confuse the roast for reality. Her closing verbal strike painted Obama as a walking monument to self-curation. Hollywood lighting, immaculate posture, soundtrack permanently implied. She ended by suggesting that if charisma could be sold at retail, Obama would own the patent and sue anyone attempting knockoffs.
More fuel on the fire that there's a potential, maybe a divorce or some sort of rockiness going on in the Obamas' relationship. They both posted these mirrored, very choreographed Valentine's Day messages on X, but he was just seen at an LA, the basketball team, the Clippers, thank you, game without her. And then on Tuesday, he was spotted eating out at a fancy dinner in Sherman Oaks with both daughters, Malia and Sasha, but again...
Tulsi signed off with the last comedic blow, smooth as silk. She didn't attack the man, she attacked the legend, the iconography, the unstoppable PR hurricane powered by vibes, confidence, and dramatic pauses. She portrayed Obama as a cultural sculpture that polishes itself daily, the eternal champion of looking good even when absolutely nothing of substance is being accomplished. Tulsi sealed the roast with an image of Obama standing alone on a mountaintop, not to fix the world, but simply because the lighting was perfect and he liked how the wind hit his jacket. Megyn rolled right back in like the spotlight simply refused to leave her alone for even a moment. She roasted the idea that Obama wakes up every morning knowing he's the protagonist of reality, with everyone else doomed to serve as a character in the extended cinematic universe of his confidence. She didn't shred his policy record, she shredded his theatrical instincts, turning him into the human equivalent of slow-motion footage.
The evidence showed, the intelligence showed that, again, Russia did not have either the intent nor the capability to be able to impact the outcome of the United States election. So it was very striking when we look back again at the documents that I declassified and released that shows there was a shift. In early December, the first week of December, again, another document was produced by the intelligence community, a president's daily brief that was consistent with every other assessment that was done previously leading up to the election. Russia did not, this is after the election now, did not attempt to affect the outcome of the American election. That was never published. Hours before it would have gone into President Obama's President's Daily Brief, it was pulled by a senior level intelligence official saying that they had to pull it because they had received new guidance.
Megyn, in a grand, chaotic style, stepped forward one last time, making the final stretch feel like the encore no one asked for but everyone secretly wanted. She presented Obama as the patron saint of strategic mystery, the guy who reveals nothing because nothing is more powerful than letting people guess. She exaggerated the comedic absurdity of treating ambiguity as achievement, making Obama seem like someone who believes the less he says, the more legendary he becomes. She framed him like the living embodiment of a movie trailer voiceover who refuses to finish the sentence. Not because it's smart, but because the cliffhanger is too good to waste. It landed like a comedic hammer, not cruel, just mercilessly funny. Tulsi closed the extended roast with a coolness that almost felt illegal, smoothing the final comedic strike into place like she'd been rehearsing it since childhood. She framed Obama as the eternal icon of immaculate self-branding, the man who doesn't simply walk away from the spotlight. He pauses first dramatically, just in case someone wants to photograph the exit. Tulsi locked the roast with a final metaphor: Obama as the world's most polished collectible, forever sealed in pristine packaging, admired not for what he does, but for the shimmering illusion of what he might do someday. With that, the comedic demolition was complete. Not political, not personal, simply the biggest roast imaginable of a legend built from coolness, mystique, and a lifetime supply of perfectly timed dramatic silence.